Hey, hi, welcome back to Jason Unleashed, guys. Jason Carter here. Good to see you. It's been a while, right? It's been a while since we've had a chance to connect. So many things have happened in the world that we cannot turn a blind eye to, that we know has been super egregious, and a movement has started. People are out there, they're mobilized, they are doing the good work. So I'm glad to be back here with you guys. To take a little bit of time off because I felt like it was the right thing to do, of course, because myself was, and my presence and my energy was needed in other places. So I'm glad to be back here with you guys and bring a little bit of levity back to the world, or even for just a little while. Anyways, guys, glad to see you. On today's show, I have an amazing woman, Jackie Iadonisi. Cool chick, y'all. You've seen her on Access Hollywood. You've seen her on Clevver. She's here today. She's incredible. She's a foodie, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that that we're passionate about here in the entertainment industry, and how what's happening now with Black Lives Matter, and really bringing to the forefront the awareness of inclusion and racism, and how it's still a problem across the world. We're going to talk about how we can make changes. So let me bring her in. Boom, boom. She sent the request. Jackie, I'm finding you. I'm finding you. I'm finding you. I'm finding you. Hey guys. Sorry, I think I missed her. You know what? It's all good. Let me go in here and get her. Bam. Let's see. Yeah, can't wait to chat. It feels good to be back, you guys. I hope everyone's been safe. I hope everyone's been, just taking care of their mental health. A lot has been going on, of course, but hey, we're doing the good work. Jackie, hey.
Hi.
Hey, so can you hear me? Can you see me?
I can hear you and I can see you. Can you hear and see me?
Yeah, because girl, you know the internet be sabotaged sometimes,
I
setting you up.
know. I need to upgrade after all of this. Well, actually, I can upgrade now, but it's like an hour to get anybody on the phone.
I
So,
know. And they even tell you that. They're like, you might want to call back in August. How about that?
seriously, I had to
Hey,
call about my bill the other day, and I was literally on the phone for an hour. I was like, okay, it's a lot,
right. All right. You're like,
but understandably so.
true. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm good. I feel
Right.
like, honestly, I feel like this week has been better. There's only so many days that you can stay in rage
Yeah.
and mad and angry, and then you have to kind of check yourself and allow yourself to, lighten that load, check your mental, and get back to it. So all in all, I'm good, but it comes in waves.
Right.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I echo what you're saying. It's day by day. It's interesting because you never realize how things traumatize you. And the trauma, and what we are experiencing is trauma. And people say, oh, that's dramatic, that's over the top. But in all actuality, hey Tina, in all actuality, it's very traumatic what we're witnessing, because it's inescapable. There is, and also the trauma of what's going on has been happening to people their whole lives, and now it's on the world stage, and that just is very triggering. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a day by day thing. Once there's something, LaCour Stevens, there's so many people watching say, but Jackie, it's so good to have you here. I have been a fan for like the longest time. I have.
Stop.
No, I'm serious. I've watched you on Clever. I love all your segments. I know you're a foodie. You're just like, you're all these things. And what else is so beautiful about you is that you are a biracial woman working in Hollywood. And with that comes a lot, because people who don't get it, they don't get it, right? They're like, oh, well, it's like the Mariah Carey syndrome. Is she black? Is she white? We don't know. And then they try to lump you into places you you are like, okay, I can do that, but also listen, I'm not just one thing, I'm several things. I think a lot of people in our industry now are like, this has been going on for a while, especially for people of color. Like, just not being seen, but not being seen as value.
Yeah. I think it gets very complicated as someone that's biracial, right? It's been a confusing thing for me since I can remember at a young age. And because I grew up in a predominantly white household, white school, I have always, to my shame, tried to kind of fit into a mold, and that has carried over into my adult life. And I've really had to realize that I've kind of brainwashed myself in a sense of the way I think, the way I dress, the way I move in this world, I'm
Mm-hmm.
always trying to do that to adapt or to be comfortable. And it's confusing now as an adult, like really realizing what I allowed myself to do, that I've lost self or sense of self and identity through that process. And it has been challenging, you know, when it comes to work too. Just, okay, what side of them, what side of me do they want? Do they
Right.
want the whiter side of me? Do they want the blacker side of me? And the fact that I actually allowed myself to think that and be like, okay, let me fit into the white side or let me fit into the black side is horrible, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that because like people liken that to code switching, right? So like you
Yeah,
know how when you walk into you got to read the room, and you know
totally.
we're seeing a lot of tweets from people that, especially on Twitter, a guy named Jared Hill, awesome guy, has had these series of tweets that has talked about traumas he's had and under the hashtag every day. Like one day I went to work and this happened and a woman, you know, discounted my presence because I was black every day. And it's like you have to always read the room. And when I say read the room, not like, you know, people say, oh, read the room for tone, but you have to walk in and be like, okay, which part of my blackness am I going to insert here, or which part of my blackness am I going to extract here? Because we're always trying to make ourselves more comfortable. And then
Yeah.
what's more frustrating is when you you get upset about something and then you become the angry black person, or you have to temper that as well. And it's just a myriad of things. You've been able to work in some pretty cool outlets, right? And you've been on red carpets, you have talked to stars, you have appeared at some really cool places. What are some instances for yourself that you felt like your blackness wasn't celebrated? And you don't have to name outlets or names, but like what are some experiences where you felt like, wow, this isn't sitting well with me?
Yeah, I mean, I think the easiest first thing that I saw was when it comes to appearance,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that certain outlets didn't want me to wear my hair curly or, you know, even small things like wearing hoops. I never wore hoops, which is so insane, but trying to dress a certain way or look a certain way, those were the first thing. And, you know, I asked somebody, I had gotten my hair braided once and I knew I was filming something the next day. And I asked because I knew that it would probably be an issue, which I shouldn't have had to ask, but I did. And they were like, well, we're looking for something a little bit more sophisticated. And so it was just kind of like a dagger to my heart. I'm like, what is sophisticated? You know, what does that mean? So that was just one small instant of like realizing that I couldn't look a certain way or have a certain hairstyle that they would approve of. Another thing is, as you know, is just kind of the content.
Right.
You know, not being, yeah. And the type of content that we cover, whether that's people that we're interviewing or
Mhm.
stories that we're talking about. And when you'd want to talk about maybe a black artist or a black actor, it just wouldn't fit our demo. And that was really frustrating. And then again, to my shame, not pitching things that would be more broad to a black audience, always having to pitch stuff that would appeal to a different demographic that wasn't
Mhm.
my own. So I think, as you know, people in front of the camera, it gets frustrating because what we care about and what we love and what we want to talk about, those are the things that we can't talk about.
Right. 100%.
Um,
Oh, why not? Like, wait.
so those are kind of situations where I've come across where I've been conflicted when it came to the workspace and not being able to be myself, and my blackness wasn't allowed. I'm
Well,
so
and
sorry. My husband
it's
is calling me.
very
Sorry.
true. Oh, no problem. It's very true what you're saying, everything, because like it's one, as a host, your job is to be your most authentic self and connect with your audience, right? Because it's not about us. It's not about us on camera. It's about our audience. They come to our platform, they come to our space to be enlightened and engaged and fulfilled and celebrated, right? And so when you don't feel supported behind the scenes, because what people don't realize is that when that camera light goes on and 3 2 1 and you're on, they don't understand the process of what it took for you to arrive there to deliver that content, the hoops you had to jump through, the research, the creative meetings, the producers, writing the content. So when you're finally there, you have not only expelled and given all this energy into that in a space where you didn't feel valued, and yet you still have to go on and talk about these things. And you bring up, hey Adam, you bring up a great point about the content, because it's not the demographic, which,
Yeah.
if anything will tell you about black content, VH1, their black content. Some people disagree with it, but highly rated year after year after
Yeah.
year. Hello, Real Housewives of Atlanta, the number one Housewives franchise. Um, Black people have billions upon billions of discretionary income to spend money on these things, and not serving that audience is doing people a disservice. But it's just so interesting how they don't see it as that. I mean, people call the death of Nipsey Hussle niche. That was a niche event. And I'm like, okay, well, if Nipsey Hussle's niche, then Taylor Swift's niche, because you're saying that the death of this man who had done, excuse me, so much for his community, and then
Yeah.
coupled with his artistry, which was, I mean, to say impeccable and to say genius and to say incredible is not even doing it justice. What the fuck are you thinking? Like, really, really?
Mhm.
But people just don't get nuance. Or when it's a Beyonce, it's a Cardi B, it's a Kanye West, they're all
Yeah.
about it because it gives them clicks, right?
Yeah.
And but that's not, I mean, and that's beautiful blackness, that's black excellence as well. But it's
Of
like,
course. Of
there's
course.
more to that. And I feel you on that. And a lot of pop culture and entertainment outlets, I don't know what the fear is in them want not. I get it. There's certain things, like you're not going to cover XX Tentacion court case, right? There's a time and space, but there's so much beautiful black content for people to not engage, that it's so mind blowing. It's so mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I think it's just being like stuck in this mindset of what works and what doesn't work, and
Right.
having that fear of like trying something and it not working, which is weird because to your point, it's proven like we have content that people love to watch and see.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just always realizing that you're catering to a certain audience and they don't want to see that. I don't know where that mindset comes from. And I think, for someone like me to say, I think I've even had that mindset of like, no, they don't want to see it. So I'm going to stick in this little bubble, and this is
Mm-hmm.
what I'm going to pay attention to. This is what I'm going to write about, and this is what I'm going to talk about because they don't care and they don't want to see it.
Right.
So I think it's just all of us kind of shifting our mindset. You don't have to just watch BET to just get black content.
There you go.
That's like, kind of like that's where black content sits and that's where it stays. And if you want it, that's where you go.
Right.
And that's
Right.
unfortunate as well,
100%. So I want to say hey to everyone commenting, everyone saying hi in the comments below. But Jackie, I think, when I have conversations with other talent that is of color in the industry, because I talk to a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
it's also that fear of losing your job. Because the reason why I think a lot of people, and let's just make this let's make this broad. I think the reason why people, especially in this industry, don't take a lot more risk as far as on in front of the camera or being talented is because ruffling feathers, right? You don't want to ruffle feathers
Yes.
because there's not a lot of opportunity, right? And then there's a lot of box checking, like, oh, okay, cool, we got we got for colorism, we got the dark black guy, we got the biracial, we got Jackie, she's biracial, she can go anyway, yes. Then we have the Latina girl, we have the blonde white girl, we're
Yeah.
covered, we're like S Club 7, we got you, right? uh, Serious.
No,
uh,
it's true. It's
right.
100% true.
Right. Some people, like, and so you said shame on you for not having the wherewithal, but I also think as talent we get proselytized into being like, okay, well, hey, I have a job and I'm on camera, and because we sacrifice so much to even get to that one point. You
Right.
sacrifice so much to be able to walk on that set and even have that 2 minutes of on-air time for a big platform. Everything you've done to get to that point has been blood, sweat, mental anguish, and tears, right?
Yeah.
So in addition to that sacrifice, you also sacrifice who you are, because you're like, well, I've worked so hard. Why would I get in my own way
Mm-hmm.
by being antithetical to these old guards, this old way of thinking?
Yeah, no, I feel like all of us kind of struggle with that. So you just kind of put your head down, keep moving till it gets to a place of what am I willing to compromise?
Yeah.
Am I willing to compromise my happiness and who I am? But you're absolutely right. To that point, it's just you want the job so bad. Most of us are coming from places from all around the world. We're doing
Mm-hmm.
anything and everything to finally get, you know, this position to be on camera. That's a big deal. And
Huge.
then when you finally get it, you have these thoughts of what you want to share with the world and what you want to do in front of the camera. And then come to find out, it's just, you're not allowed to do any of those things. You'd be lucky to just have your 2 minutes in front of the camera, like you're saying. So it is hard. And then once you're there, like to your point, there's only that one biracial girl in the company sometimes, or only that one Black person that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And other people want that position, but you were lucky enough to have it. So don't you dare question the content, what
Right.
you're saying, what you're doing, because there's somebody else that's willing to be in that seat, and you're happy and grateful to be there. So it is frustrating. And yeah, you're worried that if you say anything, you ruffle those feathers, like that, you can go.
Right. Because
Somewhere else.
right, there's somebody always waiting in the wings, and I think that also, look, violence against people isn't always physical. Is not always physical, right? So that with that mentality that's placed on just and look outside of entertainment, because this is a conversation I think that a lot of
Yeah.
people are having now, just in the workspace, right? In corporate America, or in any workspace, when you are hired to do a job, people always want to tell you about the gratefulness you should have for being here. And I mean, I worked for a major telephone company for 13 years, right?
Yeah.
And my boss was always like, "You get to come to work. You get to come to like," and it was just so demeaning. So I'm like, I get that. However, I have, concerns. And why, if you value your talent, and talent could be the plumber, talent is anyone who offers a service that you've bought. If you value the plumber who's coming to clean the shit out of your toilet that you can't get out, then you would care about their concerns for whatever concerns they have. And so
Yeah.
I think I hope the conversation is shifting into more of a value thing, because I think there's so many underlying running themes in regards to what we're experiencing now. The respect for life, the value of people, the awareness of the presence of Blackness, and this is also for all marginalized groups of people,
Yeah,
not just for
of
Black
course.
people. It's like it goes across the board. But I will say this though, and correct me if I'm wrong. I do think conversations are shifting, and prior to what's happened in the last 2 weeks, because we hit a fever pitch in the last 2 weeks, I do think ideas and conversations are being had, and people are starting to see things in a different light. I know I've been
Yeah.
experiencing that. Have you?
Yeah, 100%. It's been kind of insane, honestly. I will say, when it was Black History Month, how many months ago was that? Maybe like 3
Three.
months,
Mm-hmm.
months ago. There was a woman in our workplace that was white. And again, the company that I work for, mainly just like not a lot of Black focused
Yeah.
content. And one of the women said, "Hey, wouldn't it be great to do a Black History Month video with 3 of our Black employees?" Because there's like 5 total in our company. And it blew our minds that somebody actually, because we would never bring that to somebody because we didn't feel comfortable. Not to say that they wouldn't be open, but I guess because of how we have been conditioned, you just don't bring that kind of stuff up. People don't care about that content. So it was really incredible that somebody in our company did speak up and say, "Let's do this video." And then we saw something shift. But that video, it was crazy. Everybody in the company was like, "Why is this so important for you guys? Like, what about your culture is special to you? Why are you," but genuinely asking. And they were really excited to see our excitement. They're like, "Wow, like, why are you guys so excited about filming this today?" Because it was so much bigger to us, right? We're like, we're
Right.
at a predominantly white company and we're filming something for Black history. And not only that, there's 3 Black people on screen all together. Because normally it's like, you got to mix it up.
Right.
2 on screen is no more than 2. You know what I mean? You have more than 2 Black people, it's too much. So that was incredible to see. But as of, everything that happened after George Floyd, the company has been extremely sensitive, reaching out, emailing us. How do we move forward? What kind of content do we put out? Do we not put content out? And then also realizing that now all of a sudden, because people are more focused on, how Black people feel and how we want to move forward, but let's not jump on this trend of like, all right, let's just do a bunch of Black stuff all of a sudden.
Right.
It
Authenticity.
should be a regular thing of just not only
Mm-hmm.
Black people, all different
Yeah.
ethnicities. We should be creating content that isn't just focused on one group, but all groups.
Right.
And so it's been really, really incredible to have multiple conversations with people in the workplace and them really listening and seeing us. And it's not a, it, well, I was uncomfortable at first, like, oh, like I don't want to tell them how I really feel.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
But being honest, being real, calling people out, having those conversations, and them being receptive has been, I think that's been the glimmer of hope this whole time, because as you know, we've been here before,
Hmm.
nothing has changed. But the fact that people are in the workplace, in our circles, because that's where we're the most influential, right? They're
Yeah.
the people that are around us, are listening. And not
Hmm.
only listening, but they're actually taking action and putting action behind their words. So it's been honestly incredible.
And I think, incredible, absolutely. And I think what's even more incredible, Jackie, is like, that's what we wanted all along. Because I had a conversation with someone. They were like, is it about special treatment? It's like, no, it's not about special treatment. It's just about being in the room. It's just about being like, hey, I see you over there. Okay, what do you like? Let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's an equality because I don't. Someone has said that, well, now it's going to be like, now everyone's going to be tiptoeing around black people, and that's not what
Yeah.
we're asking.
Yeah.
That's not the request. We just want to have a seat at the table, because sometimes it may not work out in our favor, but when you don't give someone the opportunity, or even have a space for those ideas to live and come to the forefront, then they're never going to happen. And reception is so key. They say that diversity and representation are the ideas, but the inclusion is the action. So when you include those ideas and then take action, that's what makes the diversity and the representation work.
Yeah,
And
100%.
yeah, and like I feel you on the uncomfortableness, because like all the emails, all the texts, you're like, I don't know, like I've never had this much love before. One, two,
I
like
know.
you're like it's and
But
that's
also
sad.
it's uncharted territory, right? It's like you have everyone's attention now. People are listening, and it's like, oh, how do I move forward? But it's a beautiful thing. But it's also, I think, like I said earlier,
Yeah,
I brainwashed myself into thinking that people don't care, they don't want to hear, and maybe some people don't, But also giving others the benefit of the doubt and speaking up.
right.
You get what I mean? Like that woman that brought up the Black History Month, she was white and she came with that idea, and they were like, okay, we'll do it. But in my mindset, I would have never have asked them, never have felt comfortable asking them, and didn't think they
Hmm.
would receive it well. So I think also being a little bit more bold and having those conversations and, speaking your mind
Yeah, right.
with
Yeah.
hopefully no fear of anything bad happening, if your workplace is receptive, which we're finding out more people are being more open about it. So
And
the
if
current climate.
they're not receptive, then it's like, because there's no space for that anymore. There's no space for that trepidation. You should never.
Yeah.
Again, violence against people isn't always physical. There's no space for that mental anguish, and there's no space for that type of projected guilt if you do speak your mind. And here's the thing: if I was a producer, everyone do the comments. Hi, guys. If I was a producer, my ass would be like, look, let's just get let's do everything. Let's do so much content that represents who's watching us, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, these people care about their bottom line. Let's just keep it real. It's about money, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, and especially in the digital space, it's like, okay, clicks give us money because the ads. So it's like, let's make authentic, meaningful content for everybody. And boom. And that's just a smart, like from a producer standpoint, they see the value
Yeah.
in everything. They see the value in black content for women. They see the value in content for the Asian community, for the LGBTQ plus. They see the value as humans, but they also see the value if from the business standpoint, is like, that's what we need to do to bring in revenue, if that's what they're worried about and that's their bottom line. And more times than not, it is what they're worried about, is their bottom line. So
Yeah. And that's what people want to see.
yeah.
We were talking about, it's like, who came up with this idea of people only want to see one type of content? Like, no,
Mm-hmm.
they want to see it all. They want to see different backgrounds, different
Yep.
perspectives. And, that's what we're seeing. And people are crying out, like, I want that.
Yeah.
People are tired of just being in a little box, you know?
Yep, yep. Rasha Goel, who is a really cool host. Guys, go check out Rasha Goel. She's down below. She is fantastic. Huge fan of both of us, Jackie. She's like, but is that what they really, the question was, is that what they really do? No, it's not. And that's what we're trying to change, is like to get them to do that, because I think that's what's going to be what's happening going forward. But Jackie, let's talk about you now.
Okay.
Let's talk about you,
Okay.
because you have covered entertainment, pop culture for a long time for major outlets, and now you've pivoted to food
Yeah.
successfully. Like, were you always a foodie?
No, actually, I wasn't. So I was in the entertainment industry, I want to say for like 5 years.
Uh
And
huh.
it kind of came to a point where I was just tired of talking about other people.
Uh huh.
When I first got into the, and there's entertainment companies that talk about just, the music and what the projects and stuff. But, the company I was working for was more of a gossip driven
Yeah.
company. So most of the companies I worked were gossip driven. And when I came into this industry, it was all about wanting to connect with people, tell people stories, have them open up. And I just had this idea of Hollywood of like, in real life, when I sit down with someone, we connect, we have conversations, they're in depth, and I want to do that and make a difference. And then as I got into the entertainment industry, I realized, people want to know about who's dating who and what movies are coming out, those type of things. And I remember sitting down at a desk and I was doing a story about Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson. They hadn't come out in their relationship yet. And the title was 7 Reasons That Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson Should Be in a Relationship. And
I
I
think
was
I watched that
sitting
video.
there and I just could not type out anything. I was like, what am I doing? What is this story? And then granted, my husband works with a lot of people in the music industry. So I think for the longest time when you write stories about people, they become like a fairy tale almost. Like they're
Hmm.
not real people. I know that sounds horrible, but that's kind of how it turned
Yeah.
out to be. It's just I'm telling a story. But
Right.
when I was talking about people that my husband had relationships with, it really put things into perspective for
Mhm.
me. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
So I really had to reflect, what do I like? What do I want to do? What are my interests? And at that point in time, I hadn't traveled a lot and I had this pull on my heart that I just really wanted to see the world. And I did a vision board. Didn't even know I wanted to travel, but like all these travel things just started popping up on my vision board. And I was like, that's interesting. And then so I started traveling and seeing a lot of things. And obviously travel is expensive. And I was like, how can I experience travel locally without spending all the money? And food is kind of what that happy medium was. So I was like, let me try these different foods. And that was my form of travel locally. But as I was trying the foods and documenting the food, I just fell in love. Like, I think it might be weird, but when you're pulling the cheese, I'm like, wow, that's really sexy. And I love the way that the milkshake glistens. And I just fell in love with it. And I took a leap of faith and I was like, you know what? I'm going to just put all my eggs in this basket and create content, have fun, enjoy life, and see where it takes me. And thankfully, thank God, he really just blessed that path. And it is scary kind of, switching gears. I'm like, I've done entertainment all of my life.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing food. Like, what are people gonna think? But I fell in love with it, and it really did open up so many avenues for me, and I'm really grateful.
I love stories like that, because I mean, look, everything you have itemized in that story, Jackie. You said, and this is what I'm quoting you. You took a leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
You were open. You envisioned it, right? Like, I'm so right there right now with a lot of things. So hearing this is just so inspirational, because you sometimes you have to pivot, girl. You got to be like,
Yeah.
you know what, this ain't it. And our identity gets wrapped up in our careers, like, because people know us as Jackie Iadonisi from that outlet, and so you truck along and you work really hard to create that identity. But at your core, you're like, this isn't working for me. But you're afraid to shed that, because what are people going to think? Who am I if I am not this, or if I am not that,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And I fell into that fear though too because again, I think I'm admitting all of my faults here.
It's a
I think
safe
when it
space.
comes to entertainment, you know, people back home think like, ooh, she's interviewing the stars, like she's so cool. And I really had to like check myself, like, you're not that cool, Jackie. Calm down. And if people don't want to like follow your journey anymore because you're not talking to celebrities, calm down. Like you're gonna be okay. But yeah, I mean, you get so used to that being your identity, right? Like, oh, Jackie, the entertainment host or whatever, that you're afraid to start in this new on this new journey when that journey might be exactly who you're supposed to be. That journey might be something that
Right.
you're meant to do, but you're fixated on what you were.
Right.
And sometimes you just have to kind of go. And it's so beautiful what happens when you do just kind of let go and let God. I quoted that. Let go and let God.
Hey,
Honestly, you know?
it's a quote for a reason. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a quote for a reason. But yeah, I feel that. I feel that. But you've been successful. I mean, you've been on Access to Hollywood. You're so many places talking about food, and it's just nice to see someone who took the leap and really see when you're doing what you love and authenticity shines through because you can tell when people are phoning it in. You can tell when they're phoning it in. And so when you're like, okay, I'm here, I'm present, I'm loving what I'm doing. It resonates with the audience. People can
Yeah.
see that, they can feel that, it vibrates. You know, that in itself, that's what people go to classes in college and that you can't teach that. You really
Mm-hmm.
can't teach that. You have to just
Mm-hmm.
experience it and live it. And I'm glad you're living it. That's awesome. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Of
And going
course.
back to your previous point, not to go back to that conversation, but
Sure.
you were saying, you know, that we're tired and we're not going to compromise anymore. We're saying no and that we want to do these things. I feel like all of us need to do that with ourselves and around. Like, if this isn't fulfilling me, if this isn't what makes me happy, I'm going to say no. And I'm not going to be fearful of what that means. Because, right,
Yeah.
everybody's worried about money and, you know, those type of things. But sometimes you have to just take that risk. And I'm a testament that, you know, when you do make those risks, it does pay off. It's scary. And
Yeah.
every time there's a new risk in my life, I still am fearful. I still don't want to make that jump. I feel uncomfortable. But I have to remind myself every time I did make that jump, it was worth it. And everything worked out just fine, you know?
Yeah. Well, isn't that the beauty of life though, Jay? Like when you're, I don't know, when you're deciding to like buy a car and you're like, ooh, I don't know, but then you do it and it's like, I'm glad I like, it's like there's that exhilarating kind of like feeling because you don't have that every day.
Yeah.
We're constantly taught, especially people of color, we're constantly taught, yo, wait for that next shoe to drop. That next, like, just be prepared. Don't take any risks. Guard your money. Hoard everything. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
these survival techniques and these
Yeah.
survival mentalities because of how we're raised, or not all, but for myself, I'm like, I'm from Albuquerque, New Mexico. My mom was like, yo, you want something, you got to go out and get it. And just be prepared for the worst, hope for the best, always be prepared for the worst, because the worst is
Yeah.
probably going to happen. So
Totally.
I'm serious. My
Yeah,
mom's
no, it's
crazy.
real. Especially in this
Right?
industry, you got to
Yeah.
prepare for the worst because one day you got a job, the next you don't. So
Facts.
you got to prepare.
Facts.
So it is what it is in this industry, man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
But
why did I want to do this for life? Like, why did I choose to walk on this industry? You know, it's like a hustle. It'll never end. The hustle is
it never
always.
ends. But the exhilaration of like taking that risk and now and knowing that you're gonna be okay. And you know, there's so many books about it, about the universe, law of attraction,
Mm-hmm.
manifestation, letting go, surrender,
Right.
all those things that are just like you're instead the best analogy that always makes me giggle when I read it like at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm like in my like head is pretend you're in the river, and why would you want to go against the tide when you could just flow and see
Right.
where it takes you? But I'm like, I don't want to drown. Like what?
It's a good analogy.
But it's so true though. It's so true, right? It's so
Yeah.
true. So you're doing the food thing. You're married. I always laugh that you are a married woman.
Yeah. Why?
No, just because like I don't know very many people and young millennials that are married. You have a beautiful relationship with your husband. I mean, you're guys go to her Instagram right now and you'll see how fine her husband is and just the love they
Oh,
have.
thank you.
But like
He's gonna love
have
that.
having him as a support system and you guys having this relationship in this industry, How has
Yeah.
that impacted positively your relationship? Because you always hear about the negatives about, oh my God,
Yeah.
this industry, but like the love you guys share is so sweet. How have you guys been able to bond through Hollywood?
Yeah, I mean that's actually a good question. I wouldn't be where I'm at in my career if it wasn't for him. Honestly, he is my biggest supporter. And when I first started out in this industry, I was, interning, working for free. I was working at one job where I was getting paid $250 a week. A week, So what is that? I think when you break that down, it's like I don't even know
$2 a
what that
day.
would be. But he's always, from the beginning, when I didn't have any experience at all, he was like, Jackie, you're nothing but full potential. And
Yeah.
I always remember when he said that because even when I didn't think I had the potential, he always was like, Jackie, you're nothing but potential. You got this. So that's been really great just for him to believe in me. And then, as times went on, like he would film with me for my first reel. We would go out on the street and he would film and edit my reel of like interviewing people on the Santa Monica boardwalk. Those little type of things of always investing in me
Yeah.
and always encouraging me. And then even as of late, realizing that I'm not going to work at this entertainment company anymore. And financially, that's very scary of
Yeah.
just like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go on this route. And he's never questioned it. He's always supported it. And it's just really nice when you don't have that partner that's like, but maybe you should give up and find a 9 to 5 or,
Uh,
oh, Jackie, like you've been making $250 a week at this place. Time, like what are you
yeah.
doing, and of course we had those conversations, but he never doubted my potential, and he was just like, you know what, you got this. This is a rough patch, but you want to do food. If you want to do travel. Oh, you want to go back and do some entertainment, go ahead and do it. So just having that support has meant the world. And obviously, or honestly, I would not be where I'm at in my career had he not been that support for me. So I'm really
and
grateful. He's super supportive.
That's amazing. I love how you said invested. He invested. And because I mean, my partner as well. It's an investment to be. You have to invest in so many ways to be in this industry. Just wanted to say what's up to people in the comments.
Yeah,
Janetta,
no,
hey,
yes.
hey, Adam Barabas, love you, man. You're killing it. Everyone, they're like, B Burnt 15 said, this is the power duo that I didn't know I needed. Boom,
Oh,
Jason Jackie 2020.
that's so funny because I'm sorry, I know you're still reading. I literally follow you too. And me and Jason were talking about how I feel like I know you and I see you all the time because I keep up with what you do, but we've literally never talked before.
I
So
know.
it's
And
hilarious.
I know. Well, look, hey, this is a COVID miracle because had Corona, we probably wouldn't have this opportunity. But yeah, when I saw you, I wanted to have a conversation with you about just about colorism and being black and biracial in the industry because I think that's a conversation that a lot of people aren't having with each other until now, right? Because we were just trying to survive. We're just trying to book these jobs, figure it out. And I know a lot of my POC colleagues, such as yourself, have stories that have gone untold and have these things that you've wanted to say that you haven't been able to say. And there are some great people in entertainment. There's some supportive, wonderful, beautiful people who are not of color that authentically and very viscerally have our backs and don't even see color. They see talent and what you bring to the table. And I think at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to get. We're trying to even the playing field and be like, hey, let me pull my chair up and offer this. And like I said earlier, sometimes it's not going to be the best idea, but being, like you said, receptive and
Mhm.
eager and open to hear is like half the battle, half the battle.
Yeah.
Girl, what's next for you? What's next after COVID? When we get back to a better space in humanity, what's on the horizon?
Yeah, so once we could get back out there and restaurants start opening, which they have in LA, I want to continue doing my food content and just creating and giving people a space where to show their cuisine. And I really, with everything that's happening, I want to experience other cultures through food. So just creating more content. And as as a host, things aren't always secure.
Yeah.
So I think I really want to dive in into making a business for myself, creating food content for other companies, and just, being an independent woman and not having to rely on anybody else. But obviously, like, still doing on camera stuff. And I'm always that kind of person, go with the flow.
Yeah.
Whatever comes my way, I'm going to tackle it on one by one and just allow God to use me where he wants to use me and put me where he wants to put me, and just not having a distinct plan, but just being like, okay, I'm gonna try something new today
Yeah.
and see where it takes me.
It's
Yeah.
gonna take you far because you're talented, you're beautiful, you're awesome, you're smart, and you are a joy to watch. So I see many wonderful food experiences for Jackie in the future.
Awesome. Thank
It's
you.
gonna.
And hopefully me and you could go and film some food stuff together and get down and grub,
Hey,
some
listen.
barbecue.
Oh, barbecue. You're singing my song.
You know what I mean? Some ribs, some beans, some mac and cheese.
Boom. But look, I'm gonna have my own talk show. You're gonna be like my Rachel Ray sidekick. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I
It's gonna
love
be
it. Let's
awesome.
put it out in the universe. Let's put it out
Oh,
there.
we're manifesting. Jackie Iadonisi, where can they find you on social media?
Yes, they can find me at Jackie Iadonisi. It's very long, but if you see it there, you can read it. But yeah, everything Jackie Iadonisi on socials.
You are incredible. It has been so dope talking with you today. I hope our audience got some gems from you because you were dropping some gems. And you take care. I'm gonna see you. Look, we are for sure gonna meet in person because this digital crap isn't working for me anymore.
No, for sure. And yeah, honestly, thank you. I see what you're doing, and I think it's amazing that you're highlighting so many different people. So I feel honored that you had me on your show, and I can't wait for us to have real conversation. And well, we are having real conversation.
In real time.
Face to face with some barbecue. And,
All right, girl. You be well, be safe, and talk to you soon.
All right, bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.